My name is Michael Gregory. I'm the Chief of Police here in Boynton Beach, and I'm here to welcome you to our first live Facebook recruiting event. We're very excited to try this new virtual recruiting opportunity, and we're really glad that you are tuning in and joining in to help us talk about recruiting at the Boynton Beach Police Department. Boynton Beach has a population of almost 80,000 people who live here on a real full-time basis. That doesn't include the number of tourists and visitors we have here each and every day, and we have a full-service police department to take care of any public safety needs of our residents, our visitors, and others who happen to be in the city of Boynton Beach. We have approximately 156 sworn positions for our police officers here, and total staffing in the police department of about 215 employees. So we're a full-service, full-size police department, again, here to meet all the needs of the community in Boynton Beach. I want to take a brief second to go ahead and introduce our recruiting team who's here with me today. So we'll start on my right.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Officer Jivanette Rivera. I've been with the Boynton Beach Police Department for 5 years. I'm currently part of the Neighborhood Officer Program, the Homeless Outreach Team. I also do Bike Patrol and, of course, the Recruitment Team. And I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us today.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Brian Goldfuss. I've been with the department for 15 years. I am a field training officer on the road. I'm also a member of the Swat team and homeless outreach team, as well as the recruitment team.
Hello, I'm Officer Janelle Jamel. I've been with Boynton Beach for 4 years. I'm on the homeless outreach team, recruitment team, and hostage negotiation team.
Hi everyone, you can't see me on camera, but I'm Stephanie Slater. I'm the Public Information Officer here at the Boynton Beach Police Department, and I'll be serving as the moderator today. Feel free to post any questions that you have for Chief Gregory and the recruitment team in the comment section, and throughout our 45-minute chat, we will get to as many of them as possible. We're going to start today with some of our most frequently asked questions. So Officer Rivera, we're going to start with you. Can you please tell us how long does the hiring process take?
The hiring process typically takes up to 6 months. It begins with you submitting your application, which takes approximately 15 to 30 days to be reviewed. After your application is reviewed, you will be invited to do a self-assessment test and schedule it. Once you schedule your self-assessment test and you take that examination, it will take a minimum of another 15 days or so in order for you to get your scores. Once you get your scores, it will be based on an order of how you scored, in which the candidates will be contacted back. If you are contacted back, you may be scheduled for a Zoom meeting with our HR personnel. Once you complete your Zoom meeting with our HR personnel, the chief will review all of the interviews that have been submitted, and you may be invited back to receive your conditional offer and enter into the background process.
Okay, and Officer Jamelis, can you tell us about that background process and what it entails?
Yes, it's a comprehensive investigation, approximately 3 months to complete. It includes a psychological exam, a thorough physical exam and drug test, verification of current and previous employment, review social media use, reach out to references, professional and personal, computer voice stress analysis, driving history check, fingerprint examination, and a verification of education and credentials.
Okay, Officer Goldfuss, I am a certified police officer in another state. What is the hiring process?
The hiring process is the same regardless where you live or if you are certified or not.
Okay, and just to follow up on that, I'm a certified police officer in another state, for example, but I don't have college credit hours or military experience. Can I still be considered for employment?
So the minimum requirement for employment with the police department is 60 credit hours with a minimum GPA of 2.0 or 2 years of active duty military service with an honorable discharge.
Great. Officer Jamelis, so the posting says 60 credit hours as a minimum, but I have 58. Is that acceptable?
You must have already completed 60 hours at the time of your application when it's submitted. But if you don't have the 60 hours, we do accept the 2 years of active military service with an honorable discharge as a substitution.
All right, so some of the questions have started coming in. We're going to start, there's a question from Brandon who is asking, I wanted to know how often do you guys hire for non-certified officers, because I'm 21 and about to graduate with my AA in May. I was hoping to apply to the agency right when the semester ends, since college is one of the requirements. So Chief Gregory, you want to take that one?
Absolutely, and you're teed up perfectly for what we reinvented our hiring process for. So we're open continuously for hiring. You can submit your application day or night, or any day of the week, all month long, all year long. So when you have your information together, and we do require a number of additional documents that have to be uploaded with your application, you can go ahead and fill out the application, upload those documents as soon as you're ready to complete the application.
Okay, Jillian had a question of, is there an age limit on when you can become a police officer? Officer Rivera, do you want to take that one?
There is not currently an age limit of when you can become a police officer. That is not something that we cap at this moment.
Okay, let's keep going.
I'll just add on to that.
Yes, of course.
Since we were there, I'll just add that there is no age limit. However, you do have to be able to complete all the assessments and complete the testing process. So long as, regardless of your age and experience in life, you can apply, and as long as you meet all of our requirements and you pass all the required requisite tests.
Great, thank you, Chief. So, Officer Goldfuss, I'm going to pose this one to you because you are on the SWAT team. So, Jason is asking, how long do you have to be on the road before you can apply for SWAT? And then also, can you tell us about the specialty teams available with Bbpd, and does the agency have a SWAT medic?
So in order to become a member of the SWAT team, you've got to be with the department at least 3 years. And we have many other specialty units, including K-9 unit, Marine unit, traffic, violent crimes task force. We have a therapy dog position. We also have crime prevention, a neighborhood officer program, field training officers, in-house training, and detective bureau, accreditation, professional standards, internal affairs. We also have auxiliary units, which is a bike unit and also an auxiliary Marine unit, and honor guard and a hostage negotiation team.
Great. Chief, I'm going to give you this one. It's asking, Omar wants to know if you use a point system to select the best candidate, and what are the most sought after qualities of a candidate?
Those are both great questions. So we do a series of assessments. Initially, when you get hired, obviously the first thing is looking at your application and how complete it is. And if it's incomplete, it gets rejected and sent back out. So you might consider that your very first test that you'll participate in. After that, there'll be assessments, video-based as well as written exams that you'll be completed, and they will give you a final numeric score. Those scores are ordered by highest to lowest, and then we start processing the applications further for those folks who have the highest scores. We start there. As far as the qualities that we're looking for, you might just think, again, trust. That's something that we hold dearly in the police department, is trust. And we look through your past experiences, your references, your previous job applications, to find and confirm there's elements in your history that demonstrate that you're trustworthy, that we can trust you with our police cards and our computer systems and the information you come across with the sensitive information possessed by victims and witnesses that are involved in these incidents that we participate in or we investigate. So trust, integrity are high on that list. And we're looking for folks who represent our values as a police department. And here in Boynton Beach, we have an acronym referred to as PRIDE, P-R-I-D-E, and that acronym stands for professionalism, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence. So we want candidates that can adhere to and model those behaviors and those values.
Thanks, Chief. Officer Rivera, we had a question here. If you have, Alexander's asking, if you have correction experience, do you pay for the crossover academy? And that will also segue into, are we currently at Boynton Beach Police Department sponsoring the police academy?
Yes, so if you do have corrections experience, it would be considered as a non-certified applicant. You're not considered certified until you possess the Florida law enforcement state exam certification once you've completed that. So we will pay for the sponsorship for you to complete the auxiliary academy. You'll start at the non-certified salary, which is $53,983. Once you complete your auxiliary academy, complete your state exam, you'll transfer over into a certified status, and at that point, you would bump up the salary to $56,825.
Great. Officer Gemellis, so Gina is asking, as a potential out-of-state applicant, where do I take the required entry exam to add to my application?
You'd have to complete the CJVAT, and you can contact your local state college. The three closest to us are Palm Beach, Broward, and Indian River.
Wonderful. Officer Goldfuss, does the police department require a swim test?
No, our department does not require a swim test, but you should reach out to the local colleges where the police academies are held to determine whether or not if that's a requirement for them.
Great, thank you. So Officer Rivera, Stephen is asking, is there a preference for certified police officers, and are you required to have the 60 credit hours even if you're already certified?
Yes, so our minimum requirement as far as college for non-certified and certified is 60 credits regardless, or we are accepting 2 years of active duty military service with an honorable discharge, which you will have to bring proof of prior to submitting your application. So we don't have a preference on certified or non-certified. This is why both of our applications are currently open. We're accepting both certified and non-certified. We're in need of officers overall, and we welcome both to apply.
All right, Chief Gregory, George was asking, what if we have a member of the Boynton Beach Police Department refer us? Will that help us with getting hired?
Well, we certainly do like referrals. You have folks who can speak up for you and speak on your behalf as someone who can stand up and live up to our values and the morals that we expect. That goes a long way. However, it won't get you past the scoring requirements. So you do have to perform well on our written and video-based assessment centers, and you're competing against the folks who took the test.
Great. So there was another question that I'm going to give to Officer Rivera because it kind of piggybacks on the other one. Does the Boynton Beach Police Department offer sponsorships through to the police academy? And then asking, if so, does the 60 college credit hour requirement still apply?
Yes, so we are currently accepting sponsorship applications, which would be the non-certified. That's how you would submit your application for sponsorship. And regardless of non-certified or certified, the minimum requirement still stands, 60 college credit hours minimum, or in lieu of that, the 2 years of military service, active duty with honorable discharge. But we are currently sponsoring, and again, you would go through the process, begin through non-certified submitting your application, and then once you have completed your academy, you would transfer over to a certified officer upon completing the academy and the state exam.
Great. Officer Goldfuss, this one is for you. Robert Pena is asking. He's saying he's an active duty Marine stationed in Yuma, Arizona. Thank you for your service, Robert. But he is getting out in June of this year. He wants to know how would he go about taking all the tests before getting out? Should he apply now? And would the academy be paid for?
So if you're scheduled to get out, you want to wait till you have that documentation to show your honorable discharge. So you want to be able to have that to submit your application, otherwise your application would be rejected. And in the meantime, you can take other steps, take other tests that you need to take in order to have it ready for your application process. And
Okay.
Was there another part to that?
Just about, is the academy paid for? Would we sponsor the academy?
Yes, so like I mentioned, as a non-certified officer, your academy, you would be sponsored through the academy, and you would receive a salary while in the academy.
Chief Gregory, I'm going to give you this one. Stephen is asking, do you have a community policing program with dedicated officers?
Well, that's a great question, Stephen. We do believe very seriously, and we commit to the community policing philosophy here. We have officers who are dedicated to that mission and role in our neighborhoods. We actually refer to our program as the Neighborhood Officer Program. But on a larger level, I like to think that all of our police officers who work in our patrol division are community policing officers. They are assigned to specific zones and neighborhoods within our city, and they are to provide the same types of neighborhood police officer services and community policing services that the actual officers in that unit provide to those areas. So we have both versions, you might say, the dedicated unit and basically a patrol-wide philosophy of community policing.
Chief, another one for you because it's talking about the different tiers in the hiring process. We have someone who said he applied a few months ago, took the entry exam, and was placed on tier 3. What does that mean? What should he do now? Because he was trying to get sponsored to go to the academy.
Another great question I hear from time to time. So the tiering, the notification that you've been placed into a tier is a congratulations of sorts. That means that you are now available or on our eligibility list, and you're available to be called for an interview. We do receive a lot of applications and a lot of candidates, so we have to have some method of prioritizing or organizing where we start and where we end up with. So there's a 3-tier system, tiers 1, 2, and 3. And we start with tier 1 with scheduling those folks for interviews, and then we work our way through the entire eligibility roster, scheduling folks for interviews and background investigation processing. However, after if an entire year goes by, you are certainly eligible to reapply to try to get a better score or make it into a higher tier.
All right, Officer Rivera, we have a question about if the credits that you earn in the police academy count toward the 60 college credit hours.
No, unfortunately at this time they do not. You need to apply and have the 60 college credit hours prior to submitting your application for sponsorship. You have to make sure that you have full 60 credits, not trade school certification or anything like that. It has to be from an accredited college with a 2.0 GPA minimum.
All right, Officer Jamelis, Omar is asking about the patrol shifts and what their schedules look like. Can you talk a little bit about road patrol schedules?
Yes, currently we work 161 hours a month. We have 11.5-hour shifts, 2-day shifts, 2 night shifts, and alternating weekends off with biannual shift picks.
All right, this is Chief Gregory, I'm going to give this one to you. This is great. Rodney Hughes is asking, are there any other jobs with the Boynton Beach Police Department that may not require those 60 college credit hours?
Excellent question, Rodney. Most definitely, we, as I mentioned in the intro, we have a number of professional staff roles in the police department. They span areas such as our communications, dispatchers and telecommunications jobs, our records section. We have civilian and professional staff working in our evidence section, also in our crime scene section. So we have a number of positions and employment opportunities for folks who don't necessarily want to be a police officer or haven't quite yet reached all of the requirements to apply as a police officer. So again, all the opportunities that we have that are available now are listed on the city's website, and you can go there and review which ones are open and available for application submission.
Great. Officer Rivera, someone was saying that about their application. Let me just scroll back up. Okay, George was asking, he said he applied a few months ago, he did not get accepted. Can he reapply at a later time?
Yes, you can reapply at any moment. I would just strongly encourage you to make sure that you meet the minimum requirements and also make sure that you have all supporting documentation, including a CJBAT that is not expired. Sometimes our applications are disqualified due to that, so just make sure that you, again, review your minimum requirements and review that all your documents are up to date, and you can reapply at any time.
Thank you. Officer Goldfuss, James is saying, with the COVID atmosphere, he's sure ride-alongs are not really available right now, so to get a better understanding of exactly what a day looks like in the eyes of an officer like yourself, is there any way that they can reach out to chat with a member of our recruitment team?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach out to us and we'll be happy to discuss with you what we do on a daily basis, answer any questions. We're here to help and provide that information for you.
Absolutely.
You can definitely just go to our website and submit a job interest card. When you submit the job interest card, you will be forwarded to one of the members of the recruitment team. We will reach out to you and contact you back, and you can ask specifically whoever messages you the questions that you have.
So Officer Rivera, if you want to take this one, Mario said he applied a few weeks ago, hasn't heard anything. He's a certified officer in Pennsylvania and interested in relocating to Florida. How long does it usually take to hear something?
It usually takes a minimum of 15 days. Keep in mind that we are having a huge influx of applications. So just be patient and keep an eye out for your junk mail and your spam folders to make sure that it hasn't been forwarded into one of those inadvertently, and make sure you check those to see.
Chief, this one's for you. This is from James. He wants to know, is there a study guide or any material that we can review to ensure the best possible result for taking that assessment test?
I'm sure a lot of people want to know that one, James. No, we don't give cheat sheets out for the assessment process. I know that there are some publications that you can find in the local library and or bookstores for preparing for police exams. Some folks I've heard have found that useful, and some folks I've heard didn't, so it's a call that you have to make for yourself. But again, we don't provide a cheat sheet or some sort of a lesson plan for you to study.
All right, Officer Goldfuss, my license was suspended within the past 36 months. Can I still apply?
You're welcome to apply. Just know that your application will be rejected because you may want to wait to apply beyond that 36-month period.
And then Officer Rivera, are we able to apply without that 60 college credit minimum?
Just to reiterate again, our minimum requirements are 60 college credits with a 2.0 GPA. In lieu of education, you can have 2 years active duty military service with honorable discharge. You have to provide your supporting documentation prior to submitting the application. There are no exceptions to the 60 college credits or 2-year active duty requirements at this time.
Chief Gregory, do we currently have any professional staff positions available?
Again, I would encourage you to look at our website, bbpd.org, bbpd.org. We have a page dedicated to recruitment information. You can find out all of our requirements and standards, and there's links there that you can click on to see the full listing of which positions are open currently. So I just encourage anyone watching to be able to take that information down, bbpd.org, click on our recruiting page, and you'll be able to see all that available information as far as our standards and requirements, and there's a link there to take you to the full listing of positions that are available at the police department and within the city of Boynton Beach.
Great, and then Chief, I'm gonna throw this one to you as well. Terrence is saying he's a certified officer in Michigan. However, he spent 10 years with the Miami Gardens Police Department. Per FDLE, his Florida certification is valid until June 3rd of this year. So he wants to know if he applies, will it be processed in enough time before his certification lapses?
Well, the starting point is now. So the sooner you start, the more likely it will be that you'll meet that meet your expiration date there, Terrence. And spread the word. I'm sure there's a lot of people stuck up in the snow and wintry weather up north that would love to get out of there. And right now, I was outside yesterday in some shorts, going out towards the beach. It was a beautiful, windy, blissful day here in sunny South Florida. So definitely get your application in right away, and I'm sure that you'll have a better chance of getting it all completed before your certification lapses.
All right, I'm gonna pose this question to all 4 of you. So Officer Rivera, we'll start with you. What separates the Boynton Beach Police Department from other police departments in the South Florida area?
Well, being that I am part of the neighborhood officer program and I do community policing, definitely our community policing and our relationship and our rapport with the community. That's definitely what brought me to the Boynton Beach Police Department. I love engaging with the community, and I saw the social media and all of the events and the openness, and as well as no agenda when we went out to speak to the community. It was open conversation, honest conversation, and transparency, and that's what I think sets the Boynton Beach Police Department apart from others.
Chief?
Great question. I tell you, I think I mentioned it in the opening. Boynton Beach is the 3rd largest city in Palm Beach County, so we have a lot going on here. It's not a boring, stupid little town. We have some areas that are challenged with crime and other social ills, and we have some very well-to-do and upper income areas as well. We're near the beach, and so we have a lot of light marine activities for people to come and partake in, and as well as you've already heard, we also have a marine unit. Because of the size of our department, we have a good diversity of assignments, which I think if we're looking at a police career, sometimes folks don't necessarily want to be in the same role for their entire career. And the larger departments have the ability of having multiple specialty units and opportunities for growth. So you can transfer over a period of time, perhaps from patrol into a motor unit role, into a K-9 unit role, into the neighborhood officer role. There's a good diversity in assignments that we have and opportunities for growth in a professional police career. So I think that's one of the things that sets us apart from many other police departments in South Florida is our ability to have specialty units and work in a place that's as beautiful as South Florida it goes without saying.
Officer Goldfuss?
I would say one of the things that separates us is our training. We have extensive advanced training beyond your normal police academy training, including tactical medicine, advanced firearm tactics, defensive tactics, all those things. So especially me being a member of the training unit, we take very much pride in providing that excessive training to you to make you more prepared to do the job.
Thank you. Officer Gemellis, what about for you?
What sets us apart, I think, is the diversity of just the department in general, all races, backgrounds, the ability to have some mobility, different positions available, and also the training, like Officer Goldfuss said, and we have really great equipment, readily accessible.
All right, well, let's talk about equipment for a second. Officer Rivera, if you want to take this, can you talk about some of the benefits of being a Boynton Beach police officer?
Well, some of the benefits include our healthcare plan. We also have a very wonderful pension plan. We have one of the things that I actually took advantage of was our tuition reimbursement program. I actually just received my diploma yesterday for my master's degree, which I just completed, and the Boynton Beach Police Department made that possible with my tuition reimbursement program. We have short-term disability, we have dental, we have vision. We also have an on-site health and wellness center, so essentially just a top-of-the-line gym with brand new equipment, new mats, new TRX machines, and all type of different things, which I also have been taking advantage of as well. We have, we get uniforms. We also get uniform ability to take them to be dry cleaned, so you don't have to worry about getting your uniforms pressed and cleaned on your own. We offer the employee assistance program as well, and we also have a take-home car program, which I also am taking advantage of as well, which I get to take my new police Explorer home with me every day and park it in front of my home. Very proud to do that. So those are some of the things that we offer as benefits.
Wonderful. And how long, if you just want to answer this one, how long until you're vested in the pension program?
Currently it's 5 years, 10 years vested, 10 years vested until you are vested into the pension program. It's 10 years currently.
Great. So Tatiana is asking, how long after submitting an application online with all the supporting documents attached will you hear back from Human Resources?
After submitting the application, typically it takes a minimum of 15 days. Again, it's give or take, just an approximation. Please bear in mind that we are receiving a lot of applications, and this is just an approximate minimum that we're giving at the moment.
Chief Gregory, what is the department's policy on smoking marijuana?
So, obviously we have to abide by all the state laws regarding drug usage and possession of such drugs, as well as federal laws. But with that said, there's a lot of different types of substances that people are consuming today, so we really have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. So I'd say submit your application, look at our standards that are on our website first, and then feel free, if you meet those standards, to submit your application. Please, please, please complete all the information on there and give details where it asks for what drug usage you may have been involved in, and that'll help us make a better informed decision as to whether it fall into our acceptable category or the unacceptable category. Keep in mind that the state of Florida also establishes standards for all certified law enforcement officers statewide. So they are also a bar that we have to meet when we go to determine whether or not someone should be hired for the police officer role.
Thanks, Chief. Officer Goldfuss, you are on road patrol, so can you talk a little bit about the scheduling for police officers, days off? What does a typical road patrol schedule look like? We answered this question previously, but we've got lots of people tuning in, which is amazing, and the questions keep coming.
So the road patrol schedule, we work 11.5-hour shifts, amounts to 161 hours a month. There's 2 different rotations. You can either work day shift or night shift, and they're 2 days, usually 2 days on, 2 days off, and then alternating weekends.
And is there a potential that you may have to work, holidays, and you may get called in for hurricane or other big events?
Absolutely, yes. It's to be expected when you're in this job that you will end up having to work holidays. Just because you have a holiday, you don't get a day off if you're scheduled to work. And also hurricanes, everybody works, so yes.
Great.
If I could just chime in on that one
Absolutely.
as well and add a little bit more. I'm sure it may sound funny, but we're a 24/7 operation, as we mentioned before. But that also applies to some of our professional staff member positions. So it's not just police officers that are here, but we really rely on our professional staff members to help run the police department. So our records department is open 24/7. Our communications system, the folks who answer 911 have to be here even during the storm. So while it's kind of expected, the police officers here, certain of our other professional staff positions also have that requirement.
So Gary is asking if we have a reserve unit program. Chief, if maybe you want to talk a little bit about that?
We actually do. It does require that you're a certified officer at this time, but we are looking at revamping and updating some of the eligibility elements of the recruitment of the reserve program. But we do have one in place, and we can process applications for it.
Great. So I'm going to pose this to the 3 officers. Chief, if you want to chime in, you can as well. Be honest, which shift do you prefer, day or night, and why? Officer Gemellis, we'll start with you.
Honestly, I like both. I like the opportunity to choose whichever shift I like, and I kind of flip-flop back and forth, which is one of the benefits of the shift picks biannually.
Officer Goldfuss.
I agree with Officer Gemellis. I work day shift now. I like it because it's more of a normal schedule, but I worked night shift for many years, loved it, and I would have no problem working that shift again.
Great. Officer Rivera?
I currently work day shift, and I definitely would prefer to work overnight. I am a night owl all the way. I have a lot of difficulty waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning when I go to sleep at like maybe 4. So, but I mean, I love what I do, and the hours that I currently work are what's needed for my current position. So this is what I do.
Great.
Chief, do you want to think back to when you were on the road?
Well, I tell you, it really does depend on what assignment you have, because when I was a patrol officer, I really enjoyed the night shift. It was just a perfect world, being able to have the daytime, to have the freedom to go and take care of your personal affairs, and then getting off later at night, because I'm a bit of a night owl as well. Currently in my role as the chief, I think I work all those shifts, depending on what day of the week it is. I'm either in here earlier or I'm staying late into the night. So I come to appreciate them all. I love being here.
Great. Officer Goldfuss, I'm going to ask you this one. Manny says, I moved from New York to West Palm 4 years ago. I'm 26 in my second to last semester at Palm Beach State, studying the criminal justice program. Am I at a disadvantage for not being familiar with the Boynton Beach area?
Not at all. We get a lot of new hires, new officers that have never been to Boynton Beach. I personally, when I started here 15 years ago, I'd never been here. So there is no disadvantage. You learn to get around Boynton Beach, and you learn what you need to learn when you get hired.
And I would think that that's a whole part of the training program, correct?
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely part of the training program. We focus on that extensively.
So Officer Rivera, are there any courses specific to the Boynton Beach Police Department requirements?
No, at this time we don't have any specific courses that would assist in getting you hired or anything like that.
All right, and Joseph is asking, what kind of college credits are you looking for in an applicant? Criminal justice or healthcare? Like, does it matter what you've studied, or is it more so about having the college credit hours? Officer Rivera, if you want to take that one.
So we just look for the 60 college credit hours. However, it would assist you while you're in the realm of law enforcement if you have studied criminal justice, but we don't specifically look for degrees or anything like that that are specifically required or related to law enforcement. You can get experience in any degree subject that's applicable to law enforcement because we do so many things. So if you do possess something in, let's say, healthcare, as a police officer, we do have to provide medical care and medical assistance to people at times. So we accept all different types of credits. They may be applicable in a different manner, not just criminal justice related.
Chief?
I just want to add on to that as well, to double down exactly what was just said. The traditional historical thinking is that police departments always want someone with a criminal justice degree. And the more modern thinking, what's going on now, in conversations I've had with a number of other chiefs, that a lot of chiefs are now looking for more candidates that have communication degrees and social work degrees, as well as health care type of degrees. It's not just criminal justice anymore. I think, as we've been seeing play out in the news and everywhere else, that this job in police work and policing is not just what it used to be. It's something new, and we need people with new ideas and new experiences and new skill sets to be successful in today.
Chief, I'm going to pose this one to you. Rick wants to know, he's currently an NYPD officer in the hiring process for Bbpd. Does the police department have a tattoo policy? Are they accepted while in uniform, or do you need to keep tattoos covered while you're in uniform?
That's a great question. It's two parts. One, you do need to keep them covered while in uniform, if you have them. And secondly, will we hire you with tattoos? And the answer to that is yes. However, it does require that those tattoos can't be something that denigrates or insults or discriminates against any other races, sexes, any protected class. So we don't tolerate those types of tattoos anywhere on someone's person. So that would be a disqualifier. But just the presence of a tattoo that doesn't fall in that category is allowed, but while in uniform, they must be covered.
All right, Officer Gemelis, we covered this one before, but I'm going to ask it to you again. Jonathan says he went to college and went to a trade program for automotive service technology. Is that not good enough to qualify? So meaning, does trade school count as college credit hours?
No, it does not at this time. Can't be substituted for years of education.
Okay, so Maria is asking, in the case that someone gets hired as a non-certified police officer and sponsored, when would they go to the police academy? So Officer Rivera, if you want to take that, like, if, can we hire them and then send them to the academy?
So in the case of a non-certified applicant, let's just say that you get hired and there's no available classes at the moment, we'll send you to the next open academy class. But in the meantime, we can start the departmental training, the in-service training, get you acclimated to the city like Officer Goldfuss was speaking of, get you trained on other aspects of the job before you start the police academy, and then continue your in-service training once you've completed the academy.
Okay, so Peter is asking, as a prior certified officer in the state of Florida, is my age of 48 years old too old to be rehired? Officer Gemelis, if you want to take that one.
No, it's not at this time. We don't have an age limit at this moment.
All right, Chief, you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. We don't do age discrimination here. So you can be of any age, as long as you meet our 21-year age requirement on the lower end. It can go up from there. The only criteria is just that you're able to pass all the assessments, physical assessments, the training. As long as you can meet all those standards, and we want you to be a part of our team.
Great. Officer Goldfuss, I'm going to give this one to you since you're a police training officer. Omar's asking, when we're first hired, what does that initial training look like?
So when you're first hired, if you've completed the academy, we start some more advanced training, including the firearms. We get you qualified. We do the advanced, like I said, advanced firearms. We do our advanced defensive tactics training. You're trained in some tactical medicine, and a variety of other less lethal equipment. You're then transferred into your field training, where you spend I think it's 18 weeks now training in the field, learning to do the job.
And can you talk a little bit about what it's like being a field training officer and how you essentially are a mentor to those new officers?
Yeah, so when the new officers start with us, we try to not only just train them, like you said, mentor them. Be a person that they can ask questions to, try to introduce them to other officers and get them acclimated with our environment and basically our Bbpd family. So that's very important.
Great, and Officer Gemelis, can you remember when you were a new officer here going through that PTO program, what it was like having fellow officers be mentors to you?
It was a very stressful time, but it was very enjoyable as well. I learned a lot. I had a lot of really great trainers, and it was a really, really nice time. I mean, I learned a lot, and I look forward to seeing some new faces around here too.
And if I can add, when I started as well, I wasn't familiar with the Boynton Beach area. Geography was definitely a difficulty for me. I had no clue where I was going, and my field training officers worked with me tirelessly to make sure that I was able to grasp the concept of the geography here in the city, where I grew up and where I came from, the numbers and the name streets, and it was just a whole jumble for me. But they did have a lot of patience and understanding and work with me so that I could learn how to navigate through the city. So it really is an enjoyable experience to go through the field training officer and have a mentorship instead of something alternative. So.
Great. Chief, I'm going to pose this to you. Yanela is saying regarding the 60 college credit requirement, she's and being already a certified law enforcement officer, but not having that full 60 credit hours. Do you believe that requirement will deter hiring certified officers who really value your department and would like to join the City of Boynton Beach Police Department?
Well, it sounds like it might be deterring Yanela. So certainly there's always a give and take when it comes to those types of questions, when it comes to who to select and who not to select. Right now, that is the standard that we have, and we have to stand up to that for every applicant. We can't make exceptions for someone here and not someone over there. So currently that is our standard. We think it's a good policy overall, and I see a lot of the trend with my counterparts around the country many places are upgrading their age requirements and education requirements. As we speak, last year more agencies were including education, including age, increasing age as a requirement for hiring. And I think that's where we're going to be for a little while.
Great. We've got time for one more question. So Officer Rivera, I'm going to pose it to you. If I apply once I get 60 credits, but still want to complete a bachelor's education, we just lost the question, sorry. But basically asking the question of tuition reimbursement. If they would like to, once they've been hired, they meet that minimum 60 college credit hours, but they want to continue with additional degrees. Is that something that the agency will pay for?
Yes. So as I had mentioned before, you guys may not have been tuned into the live. I took advantage of our tuition reimbursement program. I came to the agency with a bachelor's degree, and I wanted to pursue a master's degree. And with the assistance of the tuition reimbursement program from the Boynton Beach Police Department, I just completed my master's degree. So we will assist in furthering your education. As long as it is applicable to the field, we will absolutely assist in continuing and furthering education. We hold that very dear to us, and we do think that we always want to see growth in our officers. So definitely we would assist in the tuition reimbursement and furthering education.
Great. We are going to wrap up with each of you. Just kind of go down the line. Officer Gemelis, we will start with you. But is there any final thoughts that you want to get across to everyone who's watching this?
If you feel as though you have the minimum requirements and you do, just go ahead and apply. It doesn't hurt. One of us will definitely get in touch with you when you fill out the job interest card. If you don't get an email or a call right away, just give us a little bit of time because we don't work every day.
All right, great, thank you.
Just to piggyback off that, I would say that we're definitely looking for good people. If you have an interest, reach out to us, ask questions. We're here to help, and good luck.
I mean, they pretty much said it all, but definitely I encourage you to apply. Reach out to us, fill out that job interest card. Somebody will be in contact with you. And we are looking forward to all the applicants that we get from this live session, and hopefully a future one if we're able to host it. And thank you guys for giving us an opportunity to share some information with you.
Chief?
Great. Thank you again. I'll just add on that I've heard a lot of folks who talk about thinking about going into police work, and sometimes they're intimidated or a little afraid of what that involves, and if they're physically fit enough, and if they know enough, how much education they have with regarding to law and criminal justice. And what I'll say is, as Officer Goldfuss mentioned earlier, that we have a great training program here, and we aren't looking for perfect people or someone who has all of the training that they need to be here. If you're certified, that's excellent. That'll certainly expedite your processing into our organization. But if you're not and you're on the bubble, I would say we aren't looking for, what we're looking for is for ordinary people that are willing to do extraordinary things. It's not that you're perfect when you get here. We've got a great training program. We can teach you to drive around the city. We can teach you our codes. We can teach you the laws. But we just need willing people who have high standards and values for how they want to live, and they can stand up to being professional, respectful. They can demonstrate integrity. They're dedicated to this position and this community, and they want to do their job in a way that demonstrates excellence. That's what we're looking for.
Great. Thank you all, Chief Gregory and members of the recruitment team, for the time that you've spent with us this afternoon. If we did not get to your questions, please feel free to email them to us at joinbbpd@bbfl.us. And as the officer said, you can go to our website, bbpd.org, and click on that job interest form, fill it out, and a member of our recruitment team will get in touch with you. That wraps up today's live Q&A. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.